Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with another one. Back with another one. Yeah, I just want to do just a quick look at pragmatism. I know I haven't touched on this lately, and I've been on doing other things. And sorry, it's just been hectic. Everybody's talking about the lost bros, and I'm gonna speak on the situation that ahead real soon, and drop it on a later date on Friday, this coming Friday, and have my take on it. And it's gonna be like Friday morning. It's the thing that we see here time and time again when people get caught up in the situation. But let's talk about pragmatism, right? Let's stick to the topic. But but the Friday you're gonna know it's so many tonal differences and things like that in nature. So I'm just gonna change the thing a little bit. Okay, okay, yeah. Switch the polar pattern for the minute. But it's pretty much the same as always I've heard before. But normally you see things from that angle. So right as I was saying, but there's a future in it, you know? So, I'm just gonna put this on pause. I got things to do. So okay, let's talk about pragmatism, and then, I'm just gonna I just got a minute and 40 seconds. Okay. We're gonna get you the introduction of it. And it says pragmatism. This is the movement is a late 19th century, early 20th century school of philosophy which considers the practical consequences or real effects to be vital components of both meaning and truth. At its simplest, something is truly only insofar so forth as it works. However, pragmatism is not a single philosophy. It is more a style of a way of doing philosophy. So a way of doing philosophy. That's what it says. In general terms, pragmatism asserts that any theory that proves itself more successful in proceeding and controlling our world than its rivals can be considered to be the nearer the truth. It argues that the meaning of any concept can equate with the conceivable operational or practical consequences of whatever, but the concept portrays like positive positivism or something like that. Positivism, yeah, positivism, of course, like positivism. Okay, I got it. And it asserts that the scientific method is generally best suited to theoretical inquiry, although pragmatism also accepts the settlement of doubt and also achieved by tenacity and persistence in an authority of a source ready-made beliefs or other methods. For more details, see the sections of doctrine of pragmatism. We're going to see that in a minute, and we'll read the rest of it. And like it just shows you that I'm going to touch on this again, but I didn't do a recording, but I want to show you what I'm reading and just get it on the screen for y'all. So it's more, you know, get y'all in the screen. And I'm gonna see what else I got. I got a lot of stuff. I gotta tell y'all what I'm gonna post for y'all Friday. Drop the thing, and then I got some shots. I'm gonna see some real quick. What I've heard and seen lately. Yeah, because we're gonna talk about this. Let me see something real quick. I haven't used this mic in a minute. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna mention this Friday. I got it from dude in a video off the gloves, and there's stuff like this, and we're gonna talk about it this week Friday. So I'm gonna stick on topic. But the pragmatism, yeah, we got Charles Sanders Peirce, the school founders of American philosophy. First, st- uh, first stated the pragmatic maximum in the late 19th century, restated in many different ways over the years, as maximums of logic as a reaction of the metaphysical theories, but the metaphysical theories, but the pragmatic maximum is actually a family of principles, not all equivalent, at least on the surface. There are numerous subtle variations with implication, which reach into almost every corner of philosophical thought. But the school of pragmatism reaches its peak in the early 20th centuries of philosophy of William James, John Dewey. The term pragmatism was first used in print by James, who credited Pierce with the coin the term during the early 1870s. And that's 19th century for y'all. They just like I mentioned. After the first wave of pragmatism, the movement split and gave rise three main sub schools, in addition to the other more independent and non-aligned thinkers. Here you go, right here. Neoclassical pragmatism inherits most of the tenets of the classical pragmatists, and it inherits including Sidney Hook, 1902, 1981, 1989, Susan Hack, 1945, still alive. That's the neoclassical pragmatism. Then you got the neo-pragmatism, sometimes called linguistic pragmatism, is a type of pragmatism also, although it differs in its philosophical methodology or conceptual formation from classical pragmatism, and it inherits includes C.I. Lewis. C.I. Lewis, 1883, but 1964. Richard Rorty, Richard Rorty, 1931, 2007. That's when he passed. W.V.O. Quinn and Donald Davidson, 1917, 2003. Hillary Putnam, 1926, still alive. Okay. French pragmatism is specifically French offshoot of the movement and includes Bruno Latour, 1947, still alive. Michael Crozier, 1922 to 2013, and Luc Boltanski, 1940, and Laurent Devenant, 1949. They're still alive. Some of them are still alive, some of them went on. But that's pragmatism in its highest form. So let's look at the doctrine of it. We go with the doctrine. It says the same thing. Pragmatists consider practical consequences, real effects by vital components, both meaning and truth. Okay, we talk about instructionalism and things like that nature. That's the introduction. We already gave you. Here's the history. They talk about Charles Pierce. Yep, we talked about that on the other side, and it's pretty much. And then they have John Stuart Mill in there. Yes, yes, yes. They mention him from the utilitarian philosopher, like I always mention. Epistemology, epistemology of the early pragmatists was influenced by Darwinian thinking. Darwinists, by the way, although they were not the first to see relevance of evolution for theories of knowledge. After the first wave of pragmatism, the movement split and gave into the rise of the subschools. And now, like I mentioned before, yeah, same thing. But the history of it just repeats itself. So pragmatism basically, like you got these dudes in the so-called manosphere. These so-called red pill space, they say they're pragmatists, right? Pragmatism is very tricky. It's a slippery slope, but this philosophy is very common, and that's what they push. But technically, they don't live like it. They mostly believe in this utilitarian concept that's blue pill all the time, right? And then when you got pragmatists, so-called pragmatists, they don't even know what the hell is going on, right? But that's the meaning of what we're seeing right now. As we can tell, this stuff is going to continue in the future. So everybody's stuck on the Lost Bros, and I'm just going to take this off the screen, and it's pretty much people's distracted of their attention. So many may have called few chosen. Yes, I teach the truth. Yeah, pragmatism is what it is. It's one of those philosophies that people get caught up in, and they just say, "Hey, pragmatic approach." Some people are pragmatic in situations, and pragmatism is one. Let me see. Pragmatism, yes, yes, yes. I want this to hear it. I want y'all to hear it. Yep, pragmatism. Okay, pragmatism in simplest terms. Pragmatism means to think of thinking of dealing with problems in a practical way rather than by using theory or abstract principles. You got a lot of pragmatist type people, and then you got your philosophers. You know, I'm looking at your philosophers and things like that nature. So it's pretty much the same. And what does it mean? Someone who deals with the problem in a sensible way is suits the condition and that reality exists. Yeah, really exists rather than following fixed theories, ideas, or rules. She rose to the power by being by being a political pragmatist who took advantage of every opportunity. Americans have a reputation for being political pragmatists, not ideologies. Yeah, some Americans do in politics. They usually use pragmatic approach. They're pragmatists. You see in certain politicians like that, but 95% of them they do use ideologies on the low in secret, like your Freemasons. But we ain't gonna get into that. But that's a whole nother story. That's what runs this planet. Yes, they're pragmatic in certain elections, state elections, but the federal level, that's a whole nother story. We ain't gonna get into that. But normally, people get caught up saying this stuff that pragmatism is one of the biggest things that people buy in this philosophy, and they try to figure out the practical ways, or and they could be pragmatic in some ways, in some shape or form, but humans is what it is. So it's not really much. I'm not going to give you the examples and stuff like I just read, but pragmatism is one of the topics that I just love to cover. And yeah, it has its ways and things like that nature, but you just got to look at it for what it is. So normally I just don't see people just get caught up and just say, "Hey, we're gonna do another thing," and just get caught up in, and that's just it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that things that when people get pragmatic, they just forget their ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just gonna cover it and just keep it moving, and then I'm just gonna drop this down and let's talk about it. But let's look up nihilism. And most your nihilist people are pragmatic. Your philosophers and things like that. Friedrich Nietzsche, Max Stirner, and all that stuff. We ain't gonna get into that. Who is a famous nihilist? Nihilism has existed in the one form or another for hundreds of years, but usually associate with Friedrich Nietzsche, the 19th century German philosopher and pessimist of choice, high school kids with undercuts, but who they said who proposed that the existence is the meaningless, morals and codes, worthless, and God is dead. Now, sometimes they go a little extreme. You got nihilistic people, but you got fake nihilists in the certain spaces want to preach that, but in reality, they're not really built like that. So that's a whole nother story on that. We'll get into nihilism in the near future, but yeah, pragmatism is like I said, it's people that's pragmatic in situations like politics and normally just stay in the realms of reality. You know what I mean? But you got historical thinkers and you naysayers and things like that, but you got to move pragmatically out here and mainly you just see what you get. So it's normally like I see this all the time. So, and I'm just like sort of speak. But normally I just look at it for what it is. And yes, people get pragmatic all the time. So it's like, let me switch the pattern for a minute. Yeah, so that's how it is. That's how it is. Let me get to that right there, right quick. Okay. Yeah, from the sides. Yeah. But normally I just say it for what it is. But yeah, most people get pragmatic all the time. So I'm not really worried or surviving out here, but normally I'm just like, okay, we here, we do our thing, and that's just mainly we see the big difference of what we're seeing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not surprised what's going on with people not being pragmatic now. Now, some people are pragmatic and study pragmatism and then the philosophy, and they get into it, they get lost into it. But is it in daily modern politics? We're gonna look into it. Is pragmatism? I get my spelling right. Is in daily pragmatism in politics. The just DSTR. That's a lot of word salad. What is pragmatism in politics? I'll read right here. What is pragmatism in politics? Pragmatic conservatism is a political ideology which refers to making decisions based on current situations while maintaining elements of conservative policies. Yeah, it's basically a conservative concept sometimes. If you're pragmatic, that particular philosophy of conservatism. Pragmatism makes a man socially efficient. They believe that children should not be asked to work according to the predetermined goals, but they should rather determine the goals according to their needs and interests. Pragmatism is based on the psychology of the individual differences. So pragmatism and its contribution to education, that's a whole nother topic. We'll do another a drop on that real soon. I'll do another one next month. Go in depth on pragmatism. Is it really important? And put it in a political concept. So yeah, just check that out. And like I said, we're on it, and we see people just be on it right now. But yeah, once people get pragmatic, they understand how things work and how things move around the world. So it's pretty much the same, and then you see it all over the world. So and let's see right quick. Let me see. I'm gonna share my screen. Yeah. I'm just gonna share my screen. Yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen. Yeah. So it's pretty much like, you see it all the time and then you just out here and then making moves. And it's pretty much like you see it and you be like, all right, I'm here and I'm maintaining and whatever. And it is what it is. Like, so you got people just getting caught up and just acting accordingly. So, we got it over here in pragmatic conservatism and all that. Okay. So we're going to read that in the political form. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we go right here. Yeah. Just adjusting to see what's going on. Pragmatism is arguably the most distinctive feature of conservatism. Pragmatism involves a flexible approach to society with decisions and made on the basics of what works. No other ideology could, in any sense of the phrases, depicted itself as pragmatic. At its core, pragmatism entails the complete rejection of ideology. It is there that we can identify the strongest evidence and argument presented by figures such as Lord Halsham and Russell Kirk, that the conservatism represents the negative of ideology. The pragmatist seeks a workable consensus, and it is guided by a notion that what counts and what works. Pragmatists also adopt a particularly stance upon proposals for social constitutional change. But the guidance of pragmatic principle, it is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why fix it? And in addition, pragmatist represents the flexibility of mind and a search for practical solutions. You have practical solutions, like I said, pragmatic. They talk about practical things like knowledge type people. That's what most people are, rather than inflexible imposed by ideologies. There is a deep-seated instinct of amongst the conservatives for known certainties of the past rather than the unknowns of the future. As Winston Churchill's eloquently put it, the further you look back at the past, the clearer you see the future. One might is also consider Michael Michael Oshot and remarking in the politics it should be conversation, not an argument. But the decisions, therefore, is based upon the consensus and while the understanding and the traditions are that society. But conservatives firmly believe in going with the grain of the human nature. Frankly, another routely would be contrary to conservatism. I'm gonna stop right there and save this as much as I can. We talk about it, and yeah, I'm gonna save this pragmatism. So it's pretty much but it goes together. All right, pragmatism. I'm gonna put this in conservatism. We're gonna do that. That's a future upload and things like that. But in that nature, but it's pretty much it. I'm just gonna knock this off for real quick. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. Yeah, just pragmatism, and this is the thing talk about the most. Most people get caught up on the realms of the Lost Bros. We'll speak on that this Friday, and I'll do a what you call it, a drop on what my thoughts on the whole situation and what it's going out to. Too many distractions, and I'm gonna speak on oh boy. And you just gotta respect the culture. At least I teach about culture on this channel. I talk about a lot, and that's my actual content. But we're talking about this philosophy, pragmatism, a lot. I just want to touch on it some more, and we'll do a part two till next time. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom and peace to everyone, and may Most High Yah bless y'all in the name of the Holy Father Yah in His prayers as always. And I'm out.